Eternal Record Bible, dictated by Yeshua HaMashiac, transcribed by Heaven's 12th General. This is the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. The Testament of Dan, Chapter 1. The copy of the words of Dan, which he spoke to his sons before he died, in the 125th year of his life. Gather to me, my children, and hear the words of Dan your father, that you may know truth and walk in righteousness all your days. I was the 7th son born to Jacob, and Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, was my mother. I was swift in anger, and I delighted not in peace. For in my youth my spirit was set on strife. I rejoiced in the shedding of blood, and in the deceit of my enemies. And I walked not in simplicity of heart, as my brother Issachar did. But envy and wrath ruled over me, and because of them I nearly perished in my sins. Therefore I confess to you this day, my children, that anger and envy are snares of the adversary, and they destroy the soul that gives place to them. Walk not in my ways, but love peace and pursue it, that the blessing of the Lord may rest upon you and your seed forever. Chapter 2. For anger blinds the mind, my children, and it darkens the soul, so that a man cannot discern between good and evil. When wrath rules the heart, the Spirit of the Lord departs, and unclean spirits take their place. A man who gives himself to anger becomes a slave to the adversary, and he is driven to commit sin without restraint. He speaks words that cannot be recalled. He sows division among brethren, and he destroys the peace of his house. Even as I was deceived, when I envied Joseph and sought his harm, though he was my own brother. The Lord rebuked me with affliction until I repented, for I learned that envy and anger lead only to death. Therefore, my children, keep your hearts from wrath, for it is a snare and a stumbling block, and it brings judgment upon the soul. Walk instead in patience and gentleness, for these are the ways of the righteous, and by them a man finds favor before the Lord. Chapter 3. For there are spirits that accompany anger, my children, and they enter into the soul that is overcome by wrath. The first is the spirit of lying, which stirs up false accusations and deceives the heart. The second is the spirit of cruelty, which delights in violence and sheds blood without mercy. The third is the spirit of hatred, which blinds the eyes to a brother's worth and turns the heart to bitterness. The fourth is the spirit of pride, which lifts a man above his brethren and causes him to despise the lowly. The fifth is the spirit of envy, which rejoices in the downfall of others and plots their harm. These spirits strengthen anger until the soul is consumed with darkness, and the man becomes as one possessed. But the man who resists wrath and turns to peace shall drive them away, and the Spirit of the Lord shall dwell with him. For patience and humility overcome anger, and love destroys envy, and truth casts out lying, so that the soul is restored to light. Chapter 4. Now hear, my children, the prophecy concerning your seed. For the Lord has revealed to me what shall befall you in the latter days. You shall depart from the Lord, and you shall walk in the stubbornness of your hearts, and anger and deceit shall rule over you. You shall provoke wrath against the righteous, and you shall hate the holy ones, and you shall lift yourselves up in pride against the Lord. Because of this, your inheritance shall be darkened, and you shall be scattered among the nations, and your land shall become desolate. Yet the Lord will not utterly forsake you, but he will visit you in the latter days with salvation from the tribe of Judah. For a deliverer shall arise, meek and righteous, and he shall save all who call upon his name in truth. He shall break the power of the adversary, and he shall bring peace to the hearts of the faithful, and his kingdom shall be without end. Therefore, my children, do not harden your hearts, but love righteousness and pursue peace, that you may have a portion with the saints in his kingdom. Chapter 5. And now, my children, I give you this charge. Turn away from wrath and cast out anger from your hearts, that you may walk in the fear of the Lord. Love one another with a pure heart, and do not repay evil for evil, for vengeance belongs to the Lord, and he shall repay. Guard your tongues from harsh words, and let your lips speak peace, that you may be called children of the Most High. Walk in humility and truth, and the Lord shall dwell among you, and his blessing shall not depart from your seed. But if you follow after envy and wrath, you shall perish in your sins, and your name shall be blotted out from the book of life. For the man who delights in peace shall inherit everlasting joy, and his portion shall be with the saints in light. Therefore, my children, love the Lord with all your heart, and keep his commandments, and you shall be established forever. And when Dan had finished these words, he stretched out his feet and slept with his fathers, and his sons laid him in the tomb with honor. The Testament of Naphtali, Chapter 1. The copy of the words of Naphtali, which he spoke to his sons before he died, in the 130th year of his life. He said to them, Hear, my children, the words of Naphtali your father, and incline your ears to the truth that I declare to you. I was swift in my youth, as a deer upon the mountains, and as a wild goat upon the cliffs, so was I in the field of my father Jacob. For he blessed me, saying, You shall be a swift one, spreading good tidings to Israel, and declaring peace to the sons of men. I delighted not in strife nor in contention, but my joy was in the paths of peace, and my heart was swift to mercy and to compassion. Therefore the Lord gave me favor with my brothers, and he established me among them as one who reconciles and heals. Now, my children, walk also in the way of peace, and let your hearts be swift to forgive, that the Lord may bless you and your seed forever. Chapter 2. Hear now, my children, the vision that I saw in my youth, when I was with my father Jacob. For the spirit of understanding came upon me, and I beheld the order of creation from the beginning. I saw the sun, the moon, and the stars, each set in their path by the command of the Lord, and none turned aside from its course. The sea also I saw, restrained by the sand, that it should not pass its boundary, for so the Lord commanded it. The mountains were established in their places, and the rivers flowed in their channels, each according to the law of the Most High. All creation, both great and small, walked in obedience to the will of the Lord, and none transgressed his commandment. Then I said in my heart, If all things obey the Lord, how much more should man, who was made in his image, walk in his fear and keep his commandments? For when man departs from the law of the Lord, he falls lower than the beasts of the field, for they obey their Maker, but man rebels against him. Chapter 3. And now, my children, understand that there are two ways set before men, the way of light and the way of darkness. The way of light is marked by truth, humility, righteousness, and love. Whoever walks in it shall find life and peace. But the way of darkness is filled with deceit, pride, envy, hatred, and violence. Whoever walks in it shall perish in his sins. For the Lord has given man the freedom to choose, and each shall walk in the path that his heart desires, but in the end he shall reap what he has sown. If you walk in the light, your deeds shall shine before heaven and earth, and your name shall be remembered for blessing. But if you walk in darkness, your soul shall be condemned, and your remembrance shall perish with you. Therefore, my children, love the light, and do not let the darkness rule over you, but pursue righteousness all your days. Chapter 4. And again I saw a vision concerning our father Jacob, when he divided us before the Lord, each man according to his inheritance. For 12 angels came down from heaven, and they wrote upon tablets of stone the portions appointed for each tribe of Israel. And our father blessed us, giving to each according to the lot of the Lord, that we might know his will concerning us. Judah was given the crown of kingship, and Levi the priesthood, that together they might rule and sanctify Israel. To me, Naphtali, was given the blessing of swiftness, that I should run upon the earth to declare peace and good tidings. And to Issachar was given knowledge of times and seasons, to discern the appointed days of the Lord. To Zebulun was given the blessing of the sea and its treasures, and to Asher the fruitfulness of the olive and the richness of the land. Thus the Lord established the tribes of Israel, each in his place, that together we might be one people, holy unto him. Therefore, my children, walk not outside the order appointed by the Lord, for he has set all things in their place, and to depart from his order is to walk in rebellion. Chapter 5. My children, do not walk in rebellion, for rebellion is as idolatry before the Lord, and those who resist his order are cut off from his covenant. For even as all creation obeys its maker, so also must men walk in his ways, lest destruction overtake them. Consider how the sea does not pass its boundary, nor the stars forsake their paths. Yet man, made in the image of God, departs from the law of the Lord. Therefore wrath comes upon the sons of disobedience, and they perish in their pride. But to the humble the Lord gives grace, and he lifts up those who repent and turn to him with all their hearts. In the latter days salvation shall come from Judah and Levi, and the Holy One of Israel shall appear upon the earth. He shall bear the sins of many, and he shall redeem those who call upon his name in truth. To him shall the nations gather, and in him shall the covenant be fulfilled, and peace shall cover the earth. Blessed are those who wait for him, for they shall inherit life everlasting, but the ungodly shall be cut off in their rebellion. Chapter 6. Now, therefore, my children, love the Lord, and walk in his commandments, and do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Keep your hearts pure, and let your eyes be fixed upon truth, for the Lord delights in the blameless. Do not be swift to anger, nor hasty in speech, but let gentleness and patience be your covering all your days. Be merciful to the poor, and stretch out your hands to the needy, for by mercy a man obtains mercy, and by giving he receives. Love one another, and let there be no division among you, for unity is strength, but strife is weakness. Await the coming of the Holy One with faith, for he shall surely appear, and his reward is with him. Then shall the righteous shine as the sun, and the faithful shall rejoice in his kingdom forever. And when Naphtali had finished speaking these words, he stretched out his feet and slept with his fathers, and his sons laid him in the tomb with honor.